Check out the boy DavidBWylin, bro. Extremely sincere nigga, bro. Extremely sincere nigga. What I like about Cub, which makes him a little more different than what we do over here, is the fact that he's a little more relaxed when it comes to putting up songs that, I don't want to say this in the wrong way because I'm not into offending niggas though, you hear me? But me personally, if I don't like the song or if I feel like I got to criticize the song too much, I'm not going to put it up. If you go to DavidBWylin channel and Cut don't like something you say, he going to pause and he going to say, hey bro, that wasn't fine. You could have really said it like, he's a little more honest and open with how. As my boy, DavidBWylin, make sure you go follow that nigga, man. He's super duper dope, genuine, so word to my kids, fire nigga, bro. How can I react to it when I watched the nigga already react to it? I watched it because I'm a fan of the nigga, because what he do is dope. Go check him out. I'm not lying to you. Northside, tell that nigga I said what's up. Positive vibes only. Like a pic, leave a comment.
Yo, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy DavidBWylin. I'm back again with another reaction, man. Something different. Like I said, I've been switching up, reacting to different stuff. So we're gonna check out this, the first killer in human history, man. We finna check this out, jump right into this. Let's see what it's about. And make sure y'all spam this like button up, sub and new, turn on post notifications. Y'all can follow me on IG and Twitter, links in the description. Hit me up over there, man. We finna check this one out. This definitely finna be something different, man. We about to find out who really started killing all this mug.
In 2013, scientists discovered a very unusual find in the Spanish cave of Cima de los Huesos, or Pit of the Bones. What they found were human remains. What was so unusual about this was primarily its location. After all, the cave is located at a depth of 43 feet or 13 meters. It's too deep to be inhabited by humans. There were also no signs that the cave was used as a burial place. After some time, it became clear this find was evidence of the very first murder in human history. At least the first case known to science to date. What guided the first murderer on Earth, and what made the...
How can you figure out the first murder on Earth? Like,
circumstances of this crime unusually strange. At the dawn of scientific research, there were two opposing points of view on the nature of man. On the one hand was Thomas Hobbes, who suggested that the nature of Homo sapiens is extremely violent, and the entire evolutionary development of mankind is a war. On the other hand, there was Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who believed that human civilization was built on cooperation and the desire to be a full member of a social group. The debate between these two sides exists to this day. Who is really right, Hobbes or Rousseau? What is the real nature of man? To clarify the case of the corpses discovered in the Spanish cave, scientists decided to study the remains in closer detail. They assembled a skull from 52 fragments scattered along the bottom of the cave, then determined his age. It turned out that the person the skull belonged to lived approximately 430,000 years ago. However,
that's crazy this how the technology is, bro.
Was not what surprised scientists. Most of the researchers' attention was focused on two fractures above the left eye. They had the same outline and were completely identical. At first, scientists suggested that the injuries occurred when falling to the bottom of the cave. However, in Cima de los Huesos, there is nothing that could cause such a symmetrical fracture. In addition, no signs of healing were found in the injured area. This means that the injury either caused death or happened posthumously. Scientists began to study the skull fractures in more detail and came to the conclusion that they resulted from a blow from a stone spear or axe. That is, it was an intentional murder. Judging by the location of the fractures, the attacker struck the area above the left eye with his right hand several times. After that, the killer dragged the lifeless body and dropped it to the bottom of the cave of Cima de los Huesos.
Man, my boy has some
However,
hate. Whoever that was had some hate for the person they dropped down there. Now you drag their body and just shit. They even leave them where they was at.
the murdered man seemed to have been far from the only victim of severe physical violence, because besides him, the remains of another 28 people were found in the cave. No traces of violent death were found on the other skeletons, but scientists are sure that the people were already dead when they were dropped to the bottom of the cave. It's possible that there were several criminals who committed the first ever massacre known to mankind. Or maybe it was some serial maniac. It's noteworthy that such a crime occurred at least 130,000 years before the appearance of the first Homo sapiens. The killer, like his victims, belonged to the early species of humans. It could be assumed that only the distant predecessors of Homo sapiens were brutal killers, and the intelligent man is a more peaceful creature, but this is far from the truth. The first Homo sapiens only continued down the path of violence that their ancestors had initiated. Another discovery only confirms this. During the Second World War, human remains were discovered in the Romanian cave of Sioclovina, among which was also a skull with unusual injuries. These remains were dated to about 33,000 years ago. For a long time, scientists couldn't explain the wounds found, and only 70 years later, with the advent of modern, high-quality equipment, were the researchers able to solve this crime. Scientists created several molds of the head from a material that mimics the properties of real bones. Then, the experimenters threw it from different heights and also tested various murder weapons, such as a baseball bat and fragments of volcanic stones on the model. The head was hit in two positions: when it rested on a hard surface, in case the victim was lying on the ground at the time of the murder, then also in an upright position, in case the
Just tell all that. That is crazy.
victim was standing during the attack. After a series of simulated attacks on the artificial head, scientists compared the data with CT scans of the actual skull. As in the case of the previously suspected killing, there were no signs of healing on the skull. Therefore, the blow most likely caused death. The hypothesis that injuries were caused after death was ruled out. Indeed, otherwise, the bones would be old and dry at the time of impact, so the fracture would have sharp edges. However, bone fragments flowed very smoothly inside, which indicates that at the time of the blow, there was soft brain tissue inside the skull. That is, the person was still alive at the time of injury. But the victim did not die instantly, and the blows themselves were few. The first blow happened when the person fell face down, probably after being pushed. After that, the victim rose back to his feet. The second injury was then received directly from the attacker. The blow was delivered with a blunt object, after which the bone fragments flew off to the back of the skull. This indicates that the killer was face to face with the victim. Since the blows were on the right side of the head, scientists suggested that the attacker was left-handed. This case was one of the first killings known to scientists to have occurred among Homo sapiens. In modern times, we often tend to blame violence on the media, computer games, or violent films. However, the killers I just described didn't play Fallout or watch the bloody comedies of Quentin Tarantino. In fact, the root of the problem lies much deeper.
Motherfuckers was killing before video games and movies came about, man.
No. In fact, the root of the problem lies much deeper. Evolutionary biologists believe that the cause of modern violence is natural selection. Our ancestors, who had a propensity towards cruelty, simply killed all their peace-loving kindred. Therefore, only violent people could continue to rule the clan. As a result, the genes responsible for aggression were preserved in the evolutionary development of man, passed on to subsequent generations, and finally reached us. But despite the fact that every person has a tendency towards aggressive behavior, only some of us are capable of real atrocities. The fact is that in addition to aggression, evolution has
That makes sense.
also endowed us with empathy and sympathy. Since our survival has always depended to a large extent on interaction with other people, the ability to empathize and collaborate allowed for coexistence with our own kind. However, some are simply devoid of this quality. In psychiatry, such people are called sociopaths and psychopaths. Due to a lack of emotions, such members of the human race seek the thrill of destroying their own kind or hurting others. Whether this antisocial personality disorder is innate or is a consequence of the influence of upbringing and the surrounding social environment remains an open question. However, to commit a murder, it's not necessary to be a psychopath. It's enough just to have a very close emotional connection with your potential victim. The U.S. Bureau of Statistics data confirms this. According to statistics, about 30% of all female murder victims suffered their fate at the hands of their own spouses. Another 18.3% of women are killed by former spouses. Only 8.7% of murdered women are victims of strangers. This is because in emotionally charged situations, people often act impulsively and irrationally, which can lead to shocking and irreversible consequences. Answering the question that I asked at the beginning regarding human nature, we can say with confidence that both statements are true. Human nature can be both destructive and creative. Aggression has helped the human race to survive in the adverse conditions of the primitive world and become the dominant species on the planet. At the same time, this ability to collaborate and empathize with others has helped us create oral and written speech, science, art, and culture. And most importantly, we managed to curb our own animal instincts, at least a little. Despite the fact that acts of violence still occur, for most modern people, killing is something completely wrong and unacceptable. This gives us hope that over time, violence will become just an unnecessary relic of the past. What do you think the motive of the primeval killings from this video was? Write your guess in the comments.
But it seemed like a trailer to a movie or something, man. But no, that's crazy though. But it's just like technology is freaking crazy. How you can tell like from the angle somebody was hit. Well, I mean, you could probably observe that yourself if you know, whatever. But it's like the details behind it. But yeah, this is the first killer in human history, man. Shit. Well, based off of scientists, you know, whatever. Because ain't no telling who was the first person to, you know, go crazy out here for the first time, and then, you know. But just the end of the reaction. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. Make sure y'all spam this like button up, sub, and you turn on post notifications, man. Look, you going crazy road to that 50K. Keep on dropping these bangers for y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. It's your boy DavidBWylin, and I'm out.